Hey guys, we're back. Got another match for you tonight. The last one, actually. It's going to be LGD.int versus MUFC. These are the only two teams that haven't played their last round yet for Group A. This is going to be the last deciding match to figure out where the seeding goes. At the moment, LGD.int is on the bottom. They're sitting at 2-4 with an impressive 2-0 versus LGD China. If they could take a 2-0 against MUFC here, they could actually surpass the bottom half. They would be above MUFC, and they would be above LGD China, which would be extremely impressive considering how they started things off.
Yeah, but I do kind of worry a little bit for LGD International. They seem like one of those teams that play up to their competition. If they're playing against a really good team, you're always going to see them give a really good fight. But it seems like when they play a team that they're supposed to beat, they end up losing, so I'm a little bit afraid.
So you're saying the throwers?
They're not throwers, but they're like underachievers.
They played so well earlier today.
Oh yeah,
they
that
really
was phenomenal.
did. They played super amazing, super unconventional too, and it seemed like if they do something weird, they definitely knew how to play the game. I just feel like they're pub stars or something, you know? It's like they've played so many pubs and so many weird games that it doesn't matter. They can just stomp on through. So, do you think we're going to see something similar? I mean, MUFC is much less of a conventional team.
Yeah, I think MUFC might actually be the team to pull one of those crazy shenanigans. I don't know if... I think actually, if I were LGD International, this is the game that I play safe in Standard.
Really?
When you play against a team like LGD China, where you practice a lot against, and they know kind of the way you play, I think you kind of have to go off the wall, do something they don't really expect, that you've never really run in practice.
Yeah.
Whereas against a team like MUFC, I think LGD International overall is a slightly stronger squad, just from maybe my Western bias, but... They do seem to be a little, from what I've seen anyways, they do seem to be a little stronger, especially if they play like they did today. Then I would favor them over a team like MUFC. So maybe play a little bit standard and just kind of, let MUFC do the crazy stuff. We play our standard style.
All right, well, let's take a look over the rosters really quick if you guys haven't been following things up to date as well. This is LGD.int currently taking, they took a 2-0 against LGD China earlier today. PyCat playing their one role. They have danced their roles around a bit. He played the super badass Ursa previously in the game. So we'll go really fast here. The games are just about to get started. 2 role is G. He has been playing their solo mid role. We've got Misery up next. Actually played the 4 role earlier today. Played a Grey Vengeful Spirit. Brax actually playing the 3 role. He played a lot of Nature's Prophet earlier today. And finally, Theban playing 1437, of course, playing the hard support. Played a great Wisp earlier today as well. The other team, we're on to the Hexagons, of course. Execution, man, that 6 is way too low. They executed that Wisp Venge gank so much better than that earlier today. Really impressed me. Looking a lot stronger than they were in the past. And if we hop over to the other team, MUFC here. 1 role is going to be Hontrash player playing the hard carry, lots of Faces Void and other insane farming roles. 2 role is FZ playing the mid players.
I only see him play Queen of Pain, by the way.
Only Queen of Pain, okay. And the 3rd role, is TFG, excellent player as well, playing the off lanes. 4th role is Ling playing the, of course, secondary support, secondary farmer. For support, that is. And Winter, of course, the hard support player. And team captain, pretty cool guy. So we are about to get under wraps. So MUFC, there's their Hexagon. Drafting is a 9. Their strong point, of course, because they can get general outdrafts, forces bad lane setups for their opponents. I don't know if that's going to be the case here because we did see some excellent drafting out of LGD.int, but the draft is underway, so we can head it over to the desk, guys. Have fun with the game.
Boom. We screwed something up with the background rotator, but that's neither here nor there. LGD International versus MUFC. The draft is underway. Of course, I'm LD, joined here by my buddy Blitz.
Blotz.
He's all over the place today, and so too are we. But it's game 1 of this best of 2, MUFC versus LGDN, and well, as you mentioned, it can affect the results for Group A. Obviously, first seed, the big prize is already claimed. DK will get that, so no matter what, they are going to be finishing on top of the group. They'll be seeded directly into the semifinals. But as for Invasion and MUFC, as well as LGDN, one of these teams could finish in the top 2 or 3, and that could make all the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And this is kind of the match that I was actually the most excited for, even more than the 2 LGD squads, just because it's a game where the playstyles are kind of the most random, I feel. LGD International is one of those teams where they bring that Western flair to that Eastern training that they have, and they're able to kind of execute some really crazy strategies. And whereas MUFC actually, they're kind of one of those Southeast Asian teams that are also willing to go off the wall. They're a team that also runs Wisp. Actually, LGD going to be the first ones to pick up that Wisp that they value so highly.
We're trying to fix the TV in the background, and somehow I've managed to completely bork Blitz's computer. You may just want to restart, buddy. That may be a little bit simpler.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm so scared.
I'm scared that if you restart it, I'll stop working, which did happen earlier, and it was rather comedic. Now Kawa's going to step in. Shout out to him. But the draft continues. It will be, of course, a Wisp first pick for LGD.int. We saw something creative from them. Vengeful Spirit Wisp combo. In game, I forget which game it was. Oh, right as it started working, the computer gets turned off. I'm sorry, that's neither here nor there. The draft continues. MUFC, they'll respond here with a Darkseer. And I like this from MUFC for one main reason. When this team does really well, it's almost always on the back of a good laning stage and then a very strong 5-man. And getting Darkseer gives you the potential for a very strong 5-man.
I think it was actually you that stressed the fact, or maybe it was Lumi, that they run the Darkseer really well, and it's one of those favorite heroes by MUFC as well. And they actually pick up the Rubik. I imagine that's for winner. That's a hero that I see him play all the time.
Yeah, it's one of Rubik's. It's one of Winter's signature heroes. Of course, Rubik is a great roamer, and that's very important for MUFC. It's something that they really rely heavily on is early movement, early smoke ganks, and now they're up against LGD.int going Prophet as well as Wisp. And we've seen them do this earlier today. It worked out well, but when you go Wisp and Prophet, IO and Prophet, your laning stage can be rather suspect, to say the least.
It's really exploitable is what it is. It just means that
10 seconds remaining.
You're not really going to have a lot of offensive potential because neither of those heroes really have stuns early. You can't really disable anything, and on top of that, it means that the Wisp has to kind of go to the short lane, and the Nature's Prophet is going to go long lane.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could dual lane mid there on the Radiant side. You can pull the camp if there's poison creeps and farm jungle stacks to a certain extent with the Wisp orbs. We'll see. But as for MUFC, I imagine we'll see a CK ban coming out here. We'll be surprised not to. We saw LGD didn't need the CK to make the combo work, but generally the CK is the ideal choice. So, like you said, exploitable, and it's especially exploitable because LGD have gone for these two heroes in the first two picks. They didn't do this as, a Prophet 4th or 5th pick. They didn't get the Wisp later on. They got them both early. That will make it much harder to kind of deal with the draft coming their way from MUFC.
Yeah, and MUFC isn't an amateur team. I'm sure they watched that game knowing that they were going to play LGD.int just to kind of see what they're up against, and this is prime for them. Giving up a combination like Wisp and Nature's Prophet, something LGD is kind of comfortable playing with, it's kind of puts you at a disadvantage because, those are comfort heroes, but at the same time, the way that they are going to run it and how they like to run it. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake of doing that crazy dive at bottom like LGD China did.
I wouldn't put it past MUFC to overextend here, but if they make a crazy dive, they have a Darkseer now, and that's the hero that kind of thrives in those chaotic skirmishes. LGD, no reliable stuns yet. Chaos Knight gets banned, Ursa actually gets banned, and LGD being on the Radiant side, we've seen Ursa often a choice that teams will go to. We've seen from the Alliance as well as LGD earlier to level 1 Roche, or to at least force a level 1 Roche engagement, but well, they're on the Radiant side, so it would have just been to counter kind of the Ursa-Wisp combo, which is a little bit unusual, to say the least.
Yeah, but it is one of those heroes that pair really well with Wisp, and, we've seen LGD has the propensity to run something crazy and off the wall, and an Ursa-Wisp on Radiant would definitely be one of those
Fits the bill,
things.
especially with a Prophet. The thing is, if you go Ursa here for LGD, they have one stun, that's Tether, and they've gone through 3 heroes already. They've gone through all their cores. They'll go Lifestealer. Wow.
Go against the Dragon Knight again? We talked about that melee matchup that the Lifestealer gets the advantage from.
Yeah, he's really a specific counter to these melee solo mids, especially the ones that like to bottle Crow, because end of the day, Lifestealer doesn't need to bottle Crow. He just sits there and whacks you, and every time he hits you, the feast, sure, slightly reduced by Dragon's Blood because it's physical damage and the armor helps, but end of the day, you're going to be taking copying a lot of harass, and G, he's been the key for this LGD international team. He's been winning mid lane consistently in matchups that both favor him and matchups that are even, or even sometimes disadvantaged matchups. He finds a way to take control of the lane and really shape the flow of the game for his team. So let's see if he can do it here. As for MUFC, Dragon Knight. Again, the makings of a strong 5-man lineup. Obviously, that's going to be key because they're up against Wisp. Prophet, you don't want to be spreading the map too much, but I also just like this for MUFC because I think it's a better style. It suits them more.
Yes, definitely. And actually, Alina going to be picked up. A lot of burst damage out on that lineup. A lot of team fight actually on MUFC as well. A lot of disables actually is what I see in LGD. They're going to remedy that by picking up the Sand King. The best thing I like about this Lifestealer, when you put him against melee heroes, he's going to have a really easy time. You don't really need to rely on the randomness of runes because you're not going to pick up a bottle.
Right.
And on top of that, it's really difficult to gank him just because you're never going to use Rage unless you're going to go for a kill. And if somebody comes to gank you, more likely than not, you'll have enough mana and it'll be off cooldown.
And even though MUFC have Rubik, so they can instantly lift him, maybe you get that off before he rages, you still have to chew through like 700, 800 HP at least. And of course, there's Rage, there might be Infest at that point. It's going to be hard to burst them down, even if you get off the instant lift. You follow it up with a Light Strike Array. There's a lot of Chainstone on MUFC. I feel they're a bit lacking in damage here, and well, that begs the question, what's this 5th hero going to be?
I think they need some hero to carry, obviously. They
Right.
have an offlaner. They have
Fantastic
support.
deduction.
Thank you. This is why they pay me the big
Sherlock
bucks.
Blitz Holmes in the house.
I was looking, I was like, wait, what do they not have here for a second? But they're going to need some sort of carry. There's a PA, there's a Void. I know they really like to pick that. It's one of those heroes that actually does quite well against Lifestealer, right? He pops the Rage, the new Chrono. And it's a hero that I've seen MUFC pick up quite
It's-
often.
Yeah, they're one of the few teams that actually runs it. It's also great against Wisp, because you Chrono, and you can just burst the Wisp down if you want, or ignore her, kill the carry, and then deal with her later. Either way, you break up that symbiotic relationship between the Wisp and the carry and just pick somebody off.
Yeah, there's PA as well, but Alchemist is actually going to be the hero.
Ooh, interesting choice here from MUFC. Strong tri-lane hero in certain situations. They have a very strong chain stun now. Rubik Lift, into a Light Strike Array, into an Alchemist stun. That's a lot of burst. Also gives you minus armor against Wisp, who starts with 0 base armor. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, you've actually got 5 stuns, quote-unquote, on MUFC's lineup. I mean, with Vacuum, the Lift, the Dragon Knight stun, the Lina stun, the Alchemist. That's a really, really strong ganking lineup and a really good team fight lineup.
Oh boy.
Razor.
They'll go Razor here. And well, there is one other interesting thing to talk about before we see the Razor come out. Is they have a Sand King Wisp, which in theory is a very devastating team fight combo. You can channel Epicenter and then relocate into the fight. I'm apparently dancing around on the desk too much here, but yeah, the Sand King Wisp combo. I really love this in team fights. If the enemy team gets caught out of position, channel Epicenter, relocate in as that's going off, and then you suddenly arrive, you epi everyone, you burrow through. That can completely throw a team fight to the winds. And well, the Razor pick. Interesting final choice. Razor is generally weak against a lot of burst damage. This hero needs to live through a prolonged fight, and now we see a burst in spades, but what do you make of the pick?
At the same time, that is true, but you've got heroes that have a lot of targetable abilities, and you've got a hero that works really well against that. I mean, Razor does really well.
Purge.
Yeah, with the Purge, his 3rd spell, his passive, works really well against these target stuns. And at the same time, I think if Razor picks up just 1 or 2 tank items, he's going to do really well against a team like MUFC. Because what are you going to do after you kill the Razor? You're going to use so much on him if he gets a tank item, then how are you going to kill the Lifestealer?
Well, we'll see if that's the case. We'll have a quick pause here from MUFC. FCFC is going to disconnect from the game, and Blitz, whatever your name is nowadays, it's time to introduce our teams. On the dire side, we'll have MUFC. They're your Malaysian contenders. I would not call them sensations. They have not had the most dominant results as of late. They're doing decently well in the Alienware Cup, but they would really like to take a 2-0 here and take a statement win off of LGD.int. Traditionally a team they have struggled a bit against, I do believe. On the side of MUFC, we'll have FCFC handling the Dragon Knight, taking his talents to the mid lane. Looks like he may be rushing Tranquil Boots, or potentially Renabasius. We will have to wait and see. Darkseer going to be handled by TFG. We'll have... Oh god, who is this? Huntrash Player. Blitz is not able to bail me out there, but that's okay. It's Huntrash Player playing the Alchemist Winter on the Rubik, and last but not least, it will be Ling playing the Lina. You left me hanging, buddy.
Dude, I'm working like double shift right now. People don't realize that.
It's
I'm
your
like,
twin who's working.
like running back and forth, having to talk the entire time. And
is
my
it really a
mouth
double
isn't
shift if
working.
there's 2 of you?
Exactly.
So that's MUFC. On the side of LGD International, we'll of course have your Western transplants.
Oh, dude, let me introduce them. I got this.
Oh, now you want to talk.
So we've got G going to be playing the
Such a
Lifestealer
fanboy.
that
Such a fanboy.
we're used to seeing him on, and he's actually stacked regen. Pycat going to be playing the Razor, a hero we don't actually see too often. Brax playing the Nature's Prophet as usual. Aaron, that's actually 1437. I don't know why he's changed his name. Is going to be playing that Wisp and Misery going to be playing that Sand King.
This is a very poor Wisp.
That's an incredibly poor Wisp.
Tangos, Observers, and bought the Courier, I believe, and, well, now we'll have Dota 2 crash again. Why not? Thank you, Valve. We'll get it back up soon, guys, but, well, in the meantime,
Kawa!
our producer's taking a nap. Blitz was
He's done this twice now.
Everybody's bailing out on us.
You have to load because they're seeing the screen. Oh god, this is the worst. He keeps going away at like literally the worst times.
Abandon us in our moment of need.
This is twice now.
He comes back now, but it's too late. The damage.
What time
was
is it
done.
right now? Can I look?
Irreparable damage was done.
It's 7:22 a.m. I'm so tired right now. Been working 7 hours straight.
You know, you have a hard life. You yell about video games for a few hours every night.
It's just the worst.
You get paid a king's ransom.
A king's ransom.
Not quite a king's ransom.
I get paid hot dogs, if you guys want to know. They literally just say, how many hot dogs do you want to work for today, Blitz? But, okay, the cool thing I want to talk about, by the way...
Is this just me? The Dota 2 network now down.
Maybe that's why... Oh, no. Actually, he loaded in, so I think it's just you. Maybe you should try running... Okay, what did I do now? Everything's just going wrong. Okay, I have to reconnect now.
What is going on here? My goodness.
Okay, here's the thing. Great thing about picking a life stealer mid, the actual... Okay, we're good. The actual best thing about picking a life stealer mid is that you don't have to go to bottle, so you get boots really quickly, meaning it's really difficult to gank you at an early level.
Mm-hmm.
That boots advantage, especially since there's so little distance to close, is really advantageous.
And I also feel like even if he didn't have boots, again, do they really have the chain stun to bring a lifestealer from full HP to nothing before he pops rage? Probably not.
No, definitely. And especially if you get phase boots really early, just because you can skip everything else. You don't have to get a bottle. You can even pick up a bracer if you feel really scared. And being able to just skip that bottle,
I gotta say,
means a lot.
knowing G, he's probably not gonna be scared. This is a guy that plays with some serious cojones.
Yeah, he's the kind of the player that realizes, you know what, I'll be able to get that rage off if crazy things happen to me. Like, no matter what, I'll be alright. So, I can't imagine him doing something like that, but, you know, just in case.
We will see. Guys, I am finally connected to the Dota 2 network. Thank you, Valve. We're reconnecting to the game right now. We should be getting underway soon. Our admin's constantly disconnecting as well. The world crumbles around us, Blitz. Yet Dota marches on. The Alienware Cup must go on. By the way, huge shout out to our sponsors, of course, Alienware, as well as MasterCard, the people who are making this tournament possible financially, as well as DPM Interactive, or dpmlicious, as many of you may know her. She is the head organizer and the person who's been coordinating everything. If you want to know more about the tournament, if you're confused about the format, what's coming up next, the schedule, anything along those lines, be sure to check out the new Alienware Cup website, which I believe is alienwarecup.com. You can also visit their social media, Facebook, twitter.com/AlienwareCup. I was paid for all those announcements.
I wasn't. So
I did it out of the goodness of my heart. I did it because I love DPM and
Oh no!
and no game.
You have to stop doing this to me. I'm just getting...
How many pauses have we had today?
I don't know. There's just way
this
too
is
many.
this is why we have a stats man. We have K-pop Tosis doing the stats for us.
Hey, check it out.
What?
You're on camera.
Oh,
Why did you say that?
yeah.
Let's
Why
see.
he interrupts us to tell us, hey. Like what? What, Jarrett? Oh, hey, you're on camera. Thanks, Jarrett. Thank you.
I'm just telling you this time. Because I was in the other room last time.
What is going
You're
on?
camera.
I'm just waiting for like the posters to fall off the walls.
Pycat's back in the game, so we can actually hop back in the game now. Looks like Tusky does disconnect again, but looks like we're okay. Pycat signaling go. Then the game gets paused by winner this time. Wait, one went to the toilet.
I am face palming so hard right now.
During this time, I'm just going to check my email, man.
By the way, the Elgato Courier is coming soon to a Dota 2 store near you. I highly recommend you get one. She's adorable. And don't ask me why it's Elgato, despite being a female. But it is! It is! I'm going to read your email with you, Blitz.
Don't read my emails.
So LGD International, MUFC, now drawing stuff on the map. What's your favorite drawing? Are we going to play tic-tac-toe?
Dude, you know what?
Are you
You,
going to...
you want to know what my favorite drawing is?
What?
It's a crawfish.
A crawfish?
It's a crawfish. I had this crazy idea. It's called 50 Shades of Cray, and then you just draw like a really sexual-looking crawfish.
What other kind is there?
Exactly. It was the best idea I've ever had, and I never followed up with it because I can't draw.
You know what?
My life.
You know what, Blitz? I want to do our introductions again because I feel like I have no idea what's going on in this game. On the side of LGD International, they are your Western contenders. We'll have G handling the Lifestealer, Pycat on the Razor, Misery taking up the reins of the Sand King. Of course, 1437 or Aren changing his name on us, playing the IO or the Wisp as she was formerly known. And last but not least, we'll have Brax, who for me has been the standout player as of late. Going to the offlane is the Nature's Prophet.
Am I gonna do?
I'll do MUFC
we
again
just
as well,
switching?
just for the sake of completion.
Continuity.
We'll have Ling on the Lena, how appropriate. Winter on the Rubik. Han Trash player, going to be handling the Alchemist. We'll have FCFC playing the Dragon Knight, taking it. Actually, looks like safe lane, which explains the reign of protection here, I suppose. And last but not least, it will be TFG going solo mid as the Darkseer. So a slight change up in terms of the lanes. Oh no, off the bat, we have our first blood. It's going to be Misery. Goes down, tries to steal a rune, pays with his life, gives one away. Well, got a little bit greedy there.
Yeah, a lot of burst damage. You have to respect that Lena Alchemist Rubik tri-lane. It just does so much damage. You've got 2 stuns and an instant disable. You can't do stuff like that. You're going to get punished.
I mean, normally you look at Alchemist.
Oh my god, he disconnected.
As frustrating as it may be for us, you have to look at the players and say, how much more frustrating must it be for them? They're the ones who are trying to play the game. End of the day, if our cast is a little off rhythm, it doesn't reflect, affect the results. For the players, it does.
Yeah. And the worst thing, too, is that it kind of just ruins your state of mind, right? You're playing in a game, and then all of a sudden there's like a pause and another pause and another pause. It just kind of ruins the flow and the momentum of things. LD's going crazy reading the chat right now. Gosh, these pauses and this man, you have this is driving my ears insane.
We've designed a special torture device for Blitz.
It's actually the worst thing in the entire world. I can't do this. I have to like do it like this. It's actually just the worst. People don't actually know what I'm talking about, but you'll see if I ever come on camera. I actually can't. It's actually making it bleed now. So
we'll see if Kawa can help you out. That's what he's here for. Large chunks of Blitz's ears are splattering onto the floor as we speak. He is in a lot of pain right now. But off the bat, we're going to see an early movement from LGD.int. Going to see an early pause from LGD.int. Never had one of these before. Meanwhile, Kawa is performing
I'll
surgery.
just deal with it.
Trying to put Blitz's ears back together.
Dude, this is just...
I
do
can't
so
take
much
it.
for you guys.
I can't take it. You've thrown your body on the line for us. Okay, we'll have another unpause. LGD, they'll go back into the river. They'll look to D-Ward. Guys, this is game 1 of a best of 2. It's your final match of Group A. And we're going to try to compose ourselves here. Because that's what we do, Blitz. That's what we do. From UFC, got the first blood. Where do they go from here?
I think just being able to lane standardly at this point is fine. Standard. I mean, you did get the first blood. That does mean quite a bit, especially for your supports. Actually, who got the kill? They actually gave it to a Han Trash player, so he's got 779 gold off the bat already, able to pick up his boots, so he's going to be just fine. And on top of that, I mean, Misery's going to be level 1. Both the supports, actually, level 2 on Ling and half a level on Winter already. So doing quite well for themselves.
Misery trying to do a bit of dewarding here, but the stun being channeled right now. In comes Han Trash player. He's going to get the stun off of Misery. Follow-up is there. Light Chicory being stacked up a little bit, unfortunately, with the telekinesis. And he will live. He sounds up, and now they look to turn around. Pycat is draining the damage out quickly. This is going to hurt. Now tethered up, has the move speed to give chase. I don't know if it's enough to find this kill. He needs 2, maybe 3 more auto attacks. Won't find it in the end, but on the backline, Zling dives deep, picks off Misery. Now it's Winter in trouble. Throws Pycat back, still has the drain damage, zaps him one more time, slaps him down with that big old whip. And now Ling comes in, but the stun will be dodged. Pycat wanting another kill, draining more damage. This greedy son of a gun. If he can just stick on the lane a little bit longer, this could be the end. Winter, he's got telekinesis, but it's a second too late. The stun thrown out. Will they finally kill Pycat? They really need this kill. He's starting to turn this game around. They need 2, maybe 3 more auto attacks to bring him down, but no, they can't. And in the end, well, LGD.int showing the power for Razor to turn these scrappy little fights around. If you don't blow them up instantly, he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, he stole so much there. Was actually Winner's was his telekinesis on cooldown? I'd imagine that's what the reason was.
Yeah, he TP'd back in, and when I clicked on him, it was off cooldown, but obviously if it was up, he would have used it sooner, so
Yeah.
must adjust cooldown.
Really smart laning choice, by the way, by
Radiant's middle tower is
MUFC.
under
Putting
attack.
TFG mid, he's able to just kind of skip across the creeps, do a lot of pressure, and actually get a lot of farm in return. And although G, man, that guy
He's-
is playing phenomenally.
I
He's
mean-
got 18 CS under the tower.
Yeah, he's last hit under his tower, and like you said, it's a lot better than putting the Dragon Knight here. It puts a lot more pressure on G. It prevents him from checking runes or doing anything aggressive, but he's still free farming. He's 20-4. We're 3 minutes in. That's 6 CS plus a minute. That's pretty impressive stuff.
And the worst thing is Brax is actually at 13-12 against FCFC. He's only got 6 CS.
It feels like they just can't find a place for this Dragon Knight. Actually, a rotation for Misery. Only a level 1 Sand Cane, but they will look to make a go here on TFG. If they can set up a Burrow Strike at the right moment, it might be enough to secure a kill. G, not yet level 6, though, and if they see this rotation, well, MUFC may look to dive this bottom lane. 1437 boldly marching forward. Always has the tether to retreat if necessary. It won't come to that, at least not yet. Mid lane, in they go. Now they're going to go on TFG. He's trying to win this man fight. He'll take it with the double damager. Misery struts in, but it's a level 1 Burrow. Cannot get in range. TFG is going to live. A big play for him, and I think maybe the first time we're actually going to see G lose his lane mid.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if it's... actually, yeah, the CS is about equal, and you get a kill. The worst thing about that was that Misery thought he was okay. He's like, oh, well, what's going to happen to me? And then he forgot about the physical damage that Darkseer can put out with the DD rune.
Yeah, the DD hurts. Darkseer actually has really high base damage as far as a nuker goes. You look at him and you don't expect him to hit hard, but hitting for 79 and then you double that, that's going to hurt. And in the end, it is enough to chew through G. Lifestealer actually has pretty low base armor, only 2 at this point. Mid, bottom lane, they may look to go again. They're trying to find the distance and the angle to commit to this fight, but Winter's going to walk into tower range completely of his own volition. 2 more auto attacks will bring him down. He falls, and now Pycat gives chase. He's got boots up. He's got tether move speed as well. 427 move speed. Can't get in range for the next kill, but LGD International continuing to find kills on this bottom lane. And Winter, magic wand up. That's it. Magic stick, I should say. No boots. And not having boots against Razor is a recipe for feeding.
Yeah, you're just going to continuously die. The chain means that the Wisp tether means that Razor is going to be able to close a distance really quickly. The unstable current means that if anybody tries to slow him down, then that person's going to get gone on. And the static link damage is so much. He's actually opting to max that out first, LD. And I really like that decision, especially with the synergy that
Top
Wisp
lane. They're going to make a go on Brax here. There's no Dragon Tail yet. FCFC has not leveled it. He's taken 2 points in the Dragon's Blood because he's under so much duress here, but as a result, they can't find a kill that otherwise would have been a gimme.
Yeah, he's actually having just the worst time in the world at top. He's
Now
actually
bottom
only
lane.
at 14
Pycat
CS.
draining damage. He's going back in. Look at Ling just melt. Now the plasma current comes out. The plasma field. Ling gets the stun off. Won't matter in the end. Killing spree for Pycat. They are dual laning against the tri lane because Misery has barely been in this lane, and they're winning. And they're winning heavily at that.
Yeah,
kind of ridiculous.
It's not even close, because how do you play offensively, right? If the Alchemist comes in melee range, then Pycat's going to defend him. And he's got enough HP, and at top, Brax actually finally does go down. But TFG has devoted so much time just to being up there, and LGD International's G getting complete free farm during this time.
I mean, I mentioned he had lost mid, and technically the CS was even, and he died. So yeah, he was losing the lane, but it wasn't a horrible loss. Now he's got phase boots up, sitting on 300 gold, has a teleport score ready, and bottom lane, we may see them make a go. Misery with the Invis rune he picked up earlier. Will initiate with the Burrow Strike. Now the chase is on, and the pain comes forth, and Pycat picks up yet another kill. Actually goes to the IO. The worst part about giving up all these kills, Blitz, is Wisp is already almost level 6. We are 7 minutes in. Normally Wisp and tri-lane versus tri-lane would be like level 3 or 4 right now. This is scary.
I remember playing in a tournament with Fluff, and he said once Wisp hits level 6, you win the game. And he didn't even specify when that was. But he's going to get it really early this game. Going to be able to... I don't exactly know how the synergy is going to work with Pycat, ganking with him. I mean, if you're going to get a 6 this early on a Wisp, you can actually just bring around Misery and gank the top lane on that Dragon Knight.
And so far, this Dragon Knight has done very little. 20 and 13. I mean, he's farming okay in the lane, but This is an off-lane H's profit for Brax. Normally, you'd love to see him forced into the jungle. You're on a strong solo here. Maybe he is because you have the safe lane advantage. But a relocate top comes, and this could be the end of FCFC. Beautiful body block by Brax, creating space and time for Pycat to drain a whole lot of damage. That's minus 99. That's minus 120. Pycat just one more slash, one more whip crash, and he will get the kill. Now G joins the fight as well with the phase boots online. Prophet ult comes through. Brax doing so much work in this game, and LGD will pick up yet another kill. My goodness. It's only 7-4, Blitz, but we'll take a look at the gold graph. It's nearly a 2K gold lead, a 600 experience lead, 400 experience lead, but it feels a lot worse, and they're not done yet. They'll find TFG. They'll continue to give chase. Open wounds up. They don't have a stun in range, so he will escape. The state of the game is that Wisp is level 6 at 8 minutes in, and because of that, this is looking rather bleak for MUFC.
Yeah, definitely. And Misery actually finally picking up levels with Pycat gone here, and that's another big thing, that Misery's going to get really acclimated to the game finally picking up levels. Sand King's one of those heroes that you really need levels just so the stun range, the initiation is a bit better. And Misery actually hasn't even been in part of this game yet. He's 0, 2, and 1. Hasn't really done too much. This game has actually almost been entirely a 4-man sequence, and they're succeeding this hard.
Yeah, his early movements didn't work, got picked off early, gave up the first blood, and just generally struggled. So, wasn't Misery give it up?
Yeah, I think
I believe so. Yeah,
it was.
The early movements just haven't worked for him, but doesn't even matter. Teleport to the top lane. G looking to find a kill here top with the phase boots. He'll charge in. If he can get that open wounds off, it will be a kill, but just out of range. Actually manages to clip him. And now the dive comes along with the Wisp relocate. Is it really up again? They just got done using this top. Another kill for Pycat. Now a mega kill. Put a feather in his cap because he's feeling pretty right now. And I'm looking at Winter, not even level 5, only boots. Every single one of these heroes can die to a Wisp relocate.
Yeah, they have to be so careful now, and they have no way of stopping Pycat. They're actually going to go in on Ling. Ling's definitely going to die here.
The relocate ends, and yeah, they come back to the bottom lane. They catch him with a burrow strike. They're chasing for additional kills, not even bothering. And Brax is going to be here. Will the body block connect? It does. Gets Dragon Tailed, cannot continue to block in Misery. Well, he's got a tether. He's got the move speed. He's got the distance. Now the orb splashed through, and FCFZ in a world of trouble. He didn't sign up for this, but he's been brought into it anyway. And now Misery looks to bring him out of this world. Thrown up in the air. Drop straight back down. FCFZ will live a beautiful telekinesis from Winter, but he'll pay with his own life potentially. Burrow through. Now the orb's coming as well. Is it going to be enough? Narrowly. The Dragon Slave. Actually, sorry, that's a dire Dragon Slave. They're giving chase. They're going to turn it around. They kill off the Wisp, and now Misery burned up by the end shell. He'll fall as well, so LGD.int finally overextending. It had just been perfect strike after perfect strike, but at long last, they do make a mistake, and they give MUFC a slight avenue back into this game.
Yeah, and actually, 1437 was trying to go for that last Wisp hit, and the ball was just about to circle around, and then it just dies.
Yeah, if that's something like Diabolic Edict, maybe he gets the kill there. But of course, when Wisp dies, the balls disappear. And top lane, G wants to go. There's a relocate available. The ult's off cooldown. He's giving chase, but he has been fogged a bit. Now the stun lands, but they bring 2 into 3. It's actually a 3-on-3 battle now. Will it be enough? They get a burrow through. Clips 2. FCFC giving chase the other direction. Get me out of here, G says. Bring me back. It's going to be 3 heroes beating a hasty retreat away.
Wow.
Back to the fountain.
What a play.
That is teamwork. My goodness.
Yeah.
All
of them able to protect each other. Perfect hop in by G, not wasting it on a creep, being able to get into Misery, Misery being able to get out as well. 1437 is playing this so well. They're able to pick up the Alchemist kill as well. That's actually what I thought they were going to do, just because they don't actually have to bring Pycat along for these kills. The damage is there with just G plus 2 heroes. And actually, Brax is getting so much farm on top of that as well. He's got his hand of Midas and 1400 gold just at the 11-minute mark as an offlane Nature's Prophet.
You know, a few months ago, I believe it was Winter who said that LGD.int was losing most of their scrimmages to the other Chinese teams, but winning about 80 to 90% of the scrims when they played Wisp. And they have Wisp, and they are showing they definitely know how to use it. Speaking of using the Wisp, beautiful Sprout here, going to call TFG away from a path of retreat. Now G on the chase. There is a surge available. He tries to back him up, but while doing so, he gets caught by a burrow strike and goes down. And now bottom lane simultaneously. They're going to make a go on Pycat. Stunned and surrounded, and I think they'll have enough damage to bring him down. They do. One more chop. Down he goes. End of the day, MUFC are finding a kill here and there. That's a big kill. Pycat was 5-0-5. They really needed that, but still, end of the day, where are the items for this team? The top 3 farmers all on the side of LGD.int, and that's only with 2 towers down. Not a massive advantage, a decent one for them, but
they're pinging at bottom. It looks like G's gonna. Oh no, that's 1437 gonna come down. Misery's
Misery.
not gonna.
Look at the move speed, 425. The Burrow Strike seems to have additional range for him. He is really stretching to the ceiling, and in the meantime, 1437 needs a Laguna Blade to the dome. He will fall. That's one way to deal with a Wisp.
I don't actually know if that was the best idea, especially to go in on like that with two heroes. I think they expected Brax to rotate in, but Brax actually couldn't just because the Lina was there. Realizing that's a terrible idea, but...
You know, Blitz, you said that you felt the issue with LGD China as of late is they've been over-aggressive, just forcing fights they shouldn't. LGD may be showing symptoms of the same illness.
Yeah, but at this point, I think it's because they overestimate the tankiness of the Razor. I mean, Pycat was in a position he shouldn't have been in just because he thinks he's invincible. And he kind of is, actually. It took so much to kill him that last time.
And he just casually struts up to the middle lane. He does have an Observer Ward here on the high ground, giving him vision all the way towards the enemy tower. But, yeah, just confidently stealing an absolute metric ton of damage. And Misery now level 8. He started to find those levels. He's got a Smoke Up Power Treads as well. And this is where he could work towards a Blink Dagger. And if you get a Blink Dagger on Misery, they have an entire team that could just show up out of nowhere. You can bring in the Razor with the Relocate, the Prophet can TP in, Lifestealer can infest into any of those three heroes and join the fights, and then Sand King blinks in from long range. LGD.int could literally have 5 heroes jumping on you out of nowhere.
Yeah, and actually...
If the blink is there.
Brax has picked up his mech. The best thing about Misery's support is he doesn't really play it like a support. You kind of play him as like a 3.5 more than anything. Just because he farms so well, and he picks up items where he needs to, and he hasn't been in too many kills, but he still made his effectiveness throughout the map. And he's got treads and an urn.
Ultimately, it's great because 1437 already has level 6. He's had it for a while. He has basic items. The Tranquil Boots, the bottle. Anything else, I wouldn't say is quite luxury, but it's not as essential as getting the Sand King, a Blink Dagger. So letting Misery be a little more durable in these fights. Ultimately, 1437's primary job is to deliver a payload to the fights, and then if he dies... Oh well, this is not a CK Wisp team. The Wisp is mostly there just to move heroes around. It's not really there as a combo hero. Speaking of moving around, the relocating mid. They burrow through, they bring 3 to the mid lane, and now one goes down in a hurry. That's the Wisp. Laguna to the face, that's some hate from lane. Excuse me, not a Laguna, just the Light Striker and the Dragon Slave. Now the Laguna comes out. They find 2. They may find more. G on the run, he phases up. He's trying to hoof it out of here. It will be enough to keep him safe. Pycat just not able to do a whole lot in this fight, but they're fighting 4v5. While this is happening, Brax pushing out the bottom lane now completes his power treads. It can transition towards some bigger mid to late game items.
Yeah, their mech wasn't even there, and they killed the Dragon Knight in exchange for 2 of these support heroes. That's not too bad of a trade at all. And actually, Dragon Knight is kind of going to be the damage dealer, considering Han Trash Player has farmed nothing. The big hero right now that's keeping them in the game for MUFC is TFG. He's played this game brilliantly. He's got the Arcane Boots, he's got the Mechanism, and he's just done such a good job in team fights so far.
And unfortunately for MUFC, I mean, the Alchemist isn't farming well, and he hasn't maxed Greevil's Greed. So to echo what you were saying, it's going to be a long time before he's a big farmer for them. They'll smoke up with 3. MUFC are going to look to rotate into the enemy jungle. They've got to find a kill here. It does feel like they're a little bit desperate right now. They trail by 6k gold, 4k experience. Not quite overwhelming, but it's getting closer and closer by the second. Brax scouting with the trance, but he's going to walk in with this hero the wrong direction. Gets caught out of position. Blown up. And MUFC will back off, probably content with what they got. TFG surging himself away, but he might run right into a roving gank party. Misery says, "Hello, sir. I would love to burrow strike you." And I don't mean that sexually. Ling, rotating towards the high ground.
How is that a euphemism?
It's not.
Burrow strike?
Is under attack.
I mean, of all the things that you could stretch, you go for burrow strike.
Speaking of euphemisms.
And actually, they're going to go
He's been stretching for the burrow strikes this game.
Oh, and TFG.
He's caught out, but this is a long way to go. I think they need to back off. There's 4 heroes close at hand mid lane. They won't commit yet.
And G actually out of mana, opting to use Infest on that Ion Sheld creep. I think that was a bit of an overreaction, but just going to go back to farming. Looks like Pycat just going to kind of defend out mid with his Plasma Field, and Brax actually TPing bottom. He does have a Teleport Scroll, though.
LGD.int just kind of calming down here. Feels like they're settling into a more comfortable rhythm, not forcing fights as much, looking for the next item. So Brax will work towards, I imagine, a Scythe Device at this point. We may see G go towards, looks like straight Basher for him. Not really going for any additional attack speed, just wants to go straight into an additional lockdown item. No BKB up yet on the Dragon Knight. In fact, not in sight, so I'm not sure Basher's essential, but the fight comes now. Alchemist will lead the way. Stuns too. What a beautiful initiation, and they'll find 2 kills off of that. Great setup stun. Now Misery lifted up. thrown back, stunned as well by the Dragon Knight, and burrows through. Can he actually get away from this? There should be a surge. Don't see him escaping. Jams it in, Ling does. He finds the additional kill, and now immediately MUFC, they'll rotate bottom. 14-14, they've tied up the kill score. They do still trail by about 6k experience, 6k gold, 2.5k experience. The tier 1 mid stands, but PyCat starting to put pressure on it.
Yeah, and the worst thing about this too is that LGD.int had such a big lead, but now they're kind of overextending. That timing on walking the Lifestealer into the Wisp and getting double stunned, that was the worst thing that could have happened. Because if Lifestealer doesn't get stunned there, then he just rages and TPs out.
Yeah, I mean, it was all set up because he has the Shadow Blade. Without the Shadow Blade, that doesn't happen. They see him coming, they spread, and he gets away. He's now going to use that Shadow Blade and run to the right. Epicenter was being channeled by Misery. I didn't mention this combo in the pregame. Unfortunately, the downside to using this combo is they see you relocating. So in general, people like to run from that, which means, well, in practice, it can be hard to actually connect.
Yeah, and that's actually not too big of a loss, though. The Epicenter wasn't really being utilized before, and as we noted, there's 5 disables on MUFC that's able to break the Sand King ult, so it's unlikely without a Blink Dagger that Misery is going to get that off anyways. So decent attempt, but I think even with the Epicenter, they won't have the damage to kill the Alchemist, especially if he has his ultimate up.
Mid lane, they'll go in now. Here comes the initiation. They burrow through. They only catch FCFC. The wall is deployed, but nobody caught it just yet. It's kind of zoning everyone away, but no commitment. PyCat's doing a lot of damage. He lurches forward. Can he actually live through this amount of burst? There's no Laguna Blade. Burrow catches too. Misery turning this fight around. Still alive as PyCat. At long last, they bring him down. And now they look to back off. Immediate buyback from PyCat. Wants to rejoin the fight. Does he come back with the stolen damage? He does not. Now Misery burrows through. Again a 2-hero burrow. PyCat's going to find his way to a triple kill. Manages to put a few more notches on his belt. And the chase underway. Misery heading north. They have managed to dust up Trash player. And he should be falling soon. The burrow through. The TPM from Brax. And they'll find yet another kill. It's a team wipe going the way of LGD.int. And MUFC. It looked good for a moment there. I felt like that wall was really poor.
Yeah, we talk about overextensions. That was a little bit, especially once you saw the PyCat buyback, but beautiful positioning by Misery. Being able to get behind 2 heroes, land those burrow strikes. I mean, they should have been able to get out, but Misery positioning himself perfectly, and PyCat, just a great buyback. Most of the time you see buybacks, they don't really pay off, or they're used in defensive positions, but that was the best possible scenario for them.
G's going to smoke up with the rest of his team. He'll lead the way, and they'll look to find some additional kills. He's gone Sanj. He's gone heavy on the mid game. Just wants to continue the aggression. They spot out lane, but he's on the high ground. That's going to be a 2-hero telekinesis stun, but Winter caught out. He'll get blown up. Now the life from the high ground. It comes to Breathe Fire, and FCFC manages to find a kill. They've got to blow up PyCat quickly. If they don't, he's going to absolutely butcher everyone. They're not focusing him. He continues to do more and more damage over this fight. He's now at plus 92. He'll find a bunch of kills off of that. Triple for G. LGD. They just feel like they have a level of teamwork that is very lacking from MUFC. Another team wipe, 2 team wipes in the space of under 2 minutes. And that feels like MUFC has just lost every inch of momentum if they had any in this game.
They were playing so perfectly. They picked off G twice before he could do absolutely anything. In the second fight in middle, we saw them blow him up before anything could happen. But PyCat with that beautiful buyback runs in, does a lot of damage, and then right there again, I mean, MUFC had to know that something was up. The dive was going to come, and especially with 2 supports being out like that, they're not going to stop. They're actually just going to dive in, get those kills. BKB picked up on PyCat. How do you kill him now? We talked about 5-stun team, but not a whole lot of physical damage, especially since Dragon Knight is nothing.
It could be a lot of physical damage. If the DK had items, if the Alchemist had more than a Shadow Blade, they have a lineup that could hit hard, but they just don't have the items to do it. And MUFC, I mean, in theory, their draft should have been able to accomplish this, but just got picked off too much bottom lane. They lost a tri-lane versus dual lane, and ever since then, it's just been all LGD all the way. Now we'll see G under cover of an Invis rune look to make something happen here. MUFC are not prepared for this. They don't have sentries deployed, and he'll wait for the right moment, and he might find something out. Brax running away from the bottom lane.
Pinged.
He's setting the bait. Well, is it the bait? They do have the relocate available. It's going to be 4 heroes here, and I think MUFC expects 3 at most. The Sprout on TFG. The relocate will come soon. Now the burrow through. Instantly gets blown up. Does get the wall off, and the Laguna to the face. Lane is certainly good at that. They find 2 in the end, and an immediate buyback from Brax. Now an infest and defensive blink away. Brax already joins the top lane. Starts to put a bit of momentum towards this Shadow Blade up, and well, LGD, they'll look to split push this for a bit.
Yeah, they're really not giving up any sort of ground. They keep pressuring over and over again. You know, constant buybacks, just being everywhere on the map, not being afraid to take these risks. I really like this style by LGD International. Just not giving MUFC a lot of breathing room. This kind of chaotic style seems to kind of favor them.
Yeah, and you look at the gold graph, I feel it's a little bit deceptive. LGD have had quite a few buybacks this game, but they are leading by over 12k gold. They want FCFC top. Shadowblade Prophet will lead the way. Once again, it's Brack. Now Pycat joins the fray. A burrow through from Misery will make this a very difficult escape. It won't be possible. The Blink Dagger now online. 6 earn charges on Misery, and he's been popping them like candy, but just has too many. Too many kills going their way. 26 to 20. And now with the Blink Dagger and Misery, they have a lineup of 5 heroes that can be anywhere at pretty much a moment's notice.
Yeah, and that's a really quick Blink Dagger considering how bad of a start he has, but we were talking about how it's going to be difficult for him to get his epicenter without it off, but now he's got it. What are you going to do? How do you stop him really from taking a fight? Especially if you initiate on God like you used to, G, then Misery just charges up his ult, gets the initiation off. I mean, it's just so difficult right now for MUFC to take fights without any sort of farm.
You know, you look at their lineup, and their lineup was just built around winning at least 2 lanes. They expected the Darkseer to do pretty well and probably beat the Lifestealer mid. That's why they didn't send Dragon Knight there. And then their tri-lane looks very strong on paper. You're up against a Wisp Prophet. You should be able to win that tri-lane with the amount of burst damage they had and getting first blood, but just too many overextensions, too many moments where they missed stuns. They allowed Pycat to drain way too much damage. Then they couldn't take the fights. And a laning stage that was supposed to go well for MUFC and then transition into a strong 5-man mid game with a mech on TFG, a Dragon Knight who just kind of sits in the front and chips away at towers, and then the follow-up burst damage of the other 3 heroes from the tri-lane. That mid game just never emerged because of how poorly the early game went.
Yeah, definitely. Brax actually is 2,800 gold. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to go for a
no.
hex here.
Misery's been caught out. That's the Shadowblade Alchemist once again finding a kill. So it's something going their way. They just need so much more of that. I feel like they need to do that 5 to 8 times to really be back in this game.
They haven't actually taken any single towers yet. Just because
LGD's
been everywhere.
They have a Dragon Knight, they have a hero that builds a mech early on the Darkseer, and they have a lot of AoE from their other supports. That's a good pushing lineup. It's not great, it's pretty good, and they still haven't gotten the tower.
Yeah. Theoretically, they should have been able to do a lot more with their lanes. At least, you know, kind of cultivate some sort of push. But not being able to take a single tower... I mean, LGD, they have made some mistakes this game, trying to take too many fights, but at the same time, in doing so, they prevented MUFC from taking any towers.
And for LGDN, they'll just start calming down again and going back to that more passive style where they just farm the lanes. They abuse the fact that they have a team of heroes that can show up out of nowhere at a moment's notice. And MUFC, it's not even the ganks that are hurting them right now. It's the threat of those ganks, preventing them from leaving the towers, preventing them from entering the lanes, preventing them from even farming their own jungle, forced to buy additional observers and sentries and place them even more defensively. And all of this is contributing to what should be an even greater gold lead. Indeed it is. It's now about a 17,000 difference in gold earned in favor of LGD International. They are now lead by over 10k experience. Only 25 minutes in. This is an absolutely ridiculous lead to have at this stage of the game.
Misery's got a Blink Dagger. He's got a point booster now. He's quite farmed. G's picked up his SNY. He's got 2,100 gold on his back as well. And Pycat, now he has a Yasha. He's fast. He's got 458 boost speed. That's not even counting the tether. It's going to be really hard to stop that train.
Yasha up, as you mentioned, and it could lead to a Mantis style, an item that would help them push if they'd like. We'll see if it's an SNY, though. Not a bad item on Razor if you're snowballing. And Pycat hasn't been finding kills recently, but is still 10-2 and 11. I say recently, I mean in the last 5 minutes, but if he's 10-2 and 11 without finding kills in the last 5 minutes, imagine what might happen the next time they do have a fight. He'll push in the mid lane. LGD International looking to take game 1. If they can do this, they'll be one step closer to a 4-4 record, and that's after forfeiting their first 4 group stage matches on the opening days of Alienware Cup action, brought to you by Alienware as well as MasterCard.
Nice transition. I would have actually liked to see what they could have done without the forfeits, but on track,
there we go.
Going to go invis.
There's your stun. It's going to connect on Brax. It doesn't actually quite clip Misery, and now the chase is on Pycat, forced to BKB, but he gets a tower off of it. A great usage of a BKB, all things considered. An LGDN confident enough that the Wisp just charges it. She's 1437 says it's go time, and he's just leading the way into MUFC's base. It's a Wisp with 800 HP, and they don't even think about taking that fight.
Yeah,
that is really a sign of the times.
They're just kind of afraid at this point. I mean, they're charging into so many things. You don't really know where Misery is. For him to be able to get a big ult off this game would spell doom for MUFC supports. And that represents a great deal of your disables as well. And just the fact that Pikecat is so tanky. I mean, you kind of have to initiate on him before he can get his BKB off, meaning the Alchemist has to go on him. But if you do that, that means G gets a free route to just rage and pop in. He's got a lot of gold too. He's got 2,800 gold.
1437 says if they pass this, if they enter this area of the map, this is the death zone.
That's the kill.
This is the
kill
bad
zone.
place. This is the sad place. You don't want to be there if you're MUFC. Problem is, that's the entirety of their avenues to leave the base. So, well, they can't. And also I want to point out, LGD.int with their gem, they dewarded everything, aside from this one lane ward bottom lane for the time being, but there is virtually no vision from MUFC. The lights have gone off here in Malaysia, and MUFC are playing fully in the dark.
Yeah, 1437 has 1,400 gold. I'm stating the gold just so you know how big of a disadvantage that MUFC's at. LGD hasn't spent their gold, and they're still winning fights like this. That means by the time that LGD buys their next items, the fights are going to look even more one-sided than they are right now.
You know, MUFC supports are actually doing decent. There's 4k gold on the Lina, the Rubik only slightly trailing the Wisp, but the problem is the carries. These core heroes just do not have the items they need to take fights. TFG, 4-staff, Mech is not bad, but they really need the BKB on him. There's just one Burrow Strike, and I feel he just dies. They're smoked up. They'll surge in. Wisp, though, tethers away towards freedom, and Pikecat will provide it. Now a self-stun. Will this prompt an initiation going the other way? G's coming for a backstab. Look for the lifesteal to start this party off the right way. Now an Epi. Blink, burrow through, catches out too. This is bad. This is very, very bad for MUFC fans. Now on the run is your Alchemist. Gets back to the safety of the base, but the relocate. They try to catch off TFG. They look to corner him. They can't do it. He surges away, but LGD say, fine, we'll take Roche.
What a fantastic play by 1437. Able to get the max range of the Link, realizing that something's wrong, you know. He's thinking to himself, oh, okay, something's up. I kind of have to get out of here. And then on top of that, Misery, just channeling that epicenter right in the corner of the trees, being able to do exactly what I said, pick off the two supports, and then from there, there's no way that MUFC can force a fight. And there's actually a gem on the ground that they didn't see.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they have an Alchemist and a Dragon Knight with basically no damage. These heroes cannot win a man fight with the Razor because he'll steal all your damage, his ult will slowly chip away at your armor.
Oh, you see the gem?
And Lifestealer is going to blow him up in the meantime. I'm not seeing the gem. Where is it?
Oh, no, he just picked it up, actually. Misery picks up the gem. Now he's got 2 gems. He's got Bling. Super jeweled out.
He's got all the orbs. Yeah, this Sand Cane likes his gold. And you mentioned Misery is a 3.5 position player. Now we're really seeing it.
Yeah, and actually Brack's going to pick up his Hex. He's got 1,100 gold on top of him. And Pikecat, how do you kill him? He's got an SNY. He's got an Aegis, 1,800 HP, and a BKB. I really like just the basic setup of Razor. I mean, most of the time he's picked as kind of a counter carry, but just by going for the Link build, he was able to just pick off supports left and right.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to that laning stage, and a lot of it was MUFC just either not chaining their stuns properly, getting caught and sort of spread out in bad positions, or just missing stuns. I think Lean missed at least 2 in the laning stage in crucial moments. I feel it would have been different if MUFC had executed correctly, but end of the day, credit where credit is due. LGD.int forced them into making some mistakes and capitalized on that as well.
Yeah, and a really important statistic, MUFC still hasn't taken a tower yet. At 30 minutes, especially with the lineup they haven't even remotely pressured. Mid's at about half. Top has actually never been touched. That's a 1,300 HP tower at top.
And honestly, Blitz, they are never taking a tower. Unless LGD.int suicide to the fountain, the lanes will always be pushed because there's a Prophet and just a lot of good heroes for clearing creep waves. Sand King's fantastic at it. Razor's pretty decent with Plasma Field, and, well, Wisp can move your team around to make it easy to kill the waves off. And on top of that, if you go to push a tower, you're going into Epicenter, you're going into the double BKB, you're going into the Aegis, or excuse me, the BKB as well as the Rage, I should say. And now, by the way, why not? A Reaver on G, working towards something devastating, probably a Heart of Tarrasque, and for LGD.int, they are biding their time, but I feel if they just wanted to break the base now, the only thing stopping them would be a perfect Darkseer wall.
Yeah, I think at this point they're just kind of securing their win. They don't want to take a fight, maybe lose it, let them get back in the game. The best part about them jungling their own jungle and clearing out every single wave is that MUFC doesn't actually know where they are, so they kind of just have to wait in the base, and that's time they're not farming. So this is LGD just further extending their lead.
It's LGD.int just playing safe, assured Dota. They now lead by about 25,000 gold, 20,000 experience, and G is going to march forward. LGD.int They have looked so solid today. They won with a bit of a cheesy strat in Game 2 versus LGD China. They won a straight-up game in Game 1, and now versus MUFC, they've done something unconventional yet again with the Razor, and they're making it work. They're looking to take this first lane of Rex, and once one fall, the rest are sure to follow. G just chopping away, slicing and dicing, and in comes FCFC, but the feast damage is really hurting him even through the Dragon's Blood. Still chasing his Pycat. The ult will bring Winter down. No way out for him. No how. He'll fall. FCFC next in line. Zapped by the big bad Razor. Driven back to the Founders Hontrash Pro or Hontrash player, and this could be the end. TFG trying to survive. He dropped the vac. He dropped the wall. It accomplished essentially nothing. And Pycat so confident that he takes the time to pick up a casual Desolator at the enemy fountain. One lane of Rex down. The GGs are coming any minute, and LGD.int, absolutely dominant fashion. They will take Game 1, and they'll do it in a bit of a stop.
And there goes the GG. Deso picked up on Pycat now. It doesn't even matter. Just using it to push out the towers. Completely pointless fights at this point. The GG was called. Hontrash player not being able to do any sort of damage. He actually opted to go 2 plate mills. I have to assume that was for a troll, but he needs that much just to survive against the pure damage.
And despite those 2 plate mails or not, he still dies at the fountain. And LGD.int, they'll live. They only lost their Wisp. Poor 1437 does drop in the end, but they win this game. I give them a few style points here just for the Razor pick, but overall, just better team play this game. I thought that was the big difference in this one. LGD.int take Game 1. It's a best-of-2 format. They are now 3-4 in the group. As for MUFC, they're 3-4. So winner of this match will finish 4-4. Loser will be 3-5, and that's going to put you more solidly in the middle of the pack towards maybe even second place, but definitely third will be an option here for the winner of this upcoming game. It sets up a pretty interesting conclusion to the series. Congratulations to LGD.int in Game 1. What are we going to see in Game 2? Well, we've seen the Wisp profit opening for this team, and it's been very, very effective. And I think with all that being said, we're ready to head back to the analyst panel. Purge, Blitz, or Blutz, whichever one we have right now. Break it down.
Just love the Wisp laning with a hard carry as well as the Wisp. It just makes it so much harder to survive, and getting kills like that, just you can snowball really hard, and it worked out really, really well there for them.
Yeah. Actually, the big thing was for me just how big the Razor was able to snowball.
Yeah.
Able to completely shut down the supports. I mean, look at it. Brax didn't actually TP down bottom too much. He didn't provide too much support.
Yeah.
G was shut down decently. They got a kill on him early, and being able to just kind of isolate him out of fights. On top of that, Misery wasn't able to have too big of an impact. That game felt a lot like just Razor and Wisp going around dominating. And they did such a good job of it as well. How many times, as a statistic, I want to know how many times does a tower not get touched at all in a 35-minute plus game? Like, not even dinked.
Yeah, it
Didn't even
helps a lot.
see it.
Even when you don't have to. I mean, they really just could ignore it. They just went for the hero kills endlessly. Used the link to just sap tons of damage and then 4 shots some guy. I mean, all those support heroes, they didn't have very much armor either. That helped a lot. So made a lot more simple to score the kills. So.
Yeah, just it just seems like LGD International, they're going to this kind of route where we kind of pick unconventional heroes, but they end up working fantastically.
Yeah.
We saw kind of an all-around style from them today, and I think it was really effective, especially with the way that they run the Wisp. I think they're actually running the Wisp better than any Eastern team right now.
Wow. How do you feel about Game 2 coming up? Do you think that they can take the 2-0 and go for I mean, that's overall, that would put them overall 4-0 for today. For all of the matches that they played for the whole Group A stage, that would mean they didn't lose anything other than the matches where they didn't show up or couldn't actually make it.
I'd be really surprised if they were given Wisp again, and I'd be really surprised. I mean, I know Lifestealer has seen some nerfs, but especially if you put him in the mid lane, where open wounds isn't that big of a deal, and you mitigate the nerf, where you can just kind of pick up levels and you max it a bit earlier than you normally would, I just think you can't give up the Lifestealer.
Yeah.
I think that hero actually might just be as deadly as the Wisp. So, but if I had to say, judging by the way that LGD International is playing, looks like they have quite a bit of strategies up their sleeves.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me too. Every game they throw something weird from the left field, and there they are doing some. I mean, they did Razor. Like, were you expecting a Razor pick?
No, I don't think anybody.
I sure was not.
We should just like throw out a random hero. Let's do it.
Carrier Shaker.
Carrier Shaker. All right. So if a Carrier Shaker happens, Purge is
right.
Purge is a god.
That's where I'm gonna stop. All right,
so
guys.
based.
So that was game 1. We're gonna have game 2 coming up in a bit with LGD.int versus MUFC. If you guys want to watch that, please stay tuned, and we'll be back in a bit with the next match.